to be that depleted and in that much pain and that much brain fog, is the way I was headed was not going to end well. That's as simple as that. And where I ended up was on a national TV show for 6 months. There's something you said, that the opening of the lightning process, that I'll never forget. And it basically highlighted our focus on the negative and our inability to see the positive. And I remember going, oh, okay. It was so simple. I've never forgotten that. Never forgot. I'm just like, wow. And so it kind of challenged me to look at it differently, be more solution focused rather than problem focused all the time.
And brains are meant to be looking at problems as well. We have a negativity bias. We're meant to see the negatives, but if you go through a period of chronic stress, that just cranks up 10 notches.
There's an approach, and it's not an approach I use, and it's flawed, and it's the first thing someone will do is say, what are your triggers to anxiety? Now, if you ask me what my triggers to anxiety are, I can assure you within 5 minutes I'm going to be highly anxious. We don't need to know what someone's triggers are to work on a solution. I don't need to know your triggers. What we're going to do is work on a solution here. Because if we focus on that, it's like if I'd have walked into the lightning process and spent the whole day, which I thought I was going to be able to do, by the way. I thought I was going to be able to walk in and tell you for a whole day all the things that had been wrong with me in the last 8 years. I was going to map it out, Rick. And I very quickly learned that that was not going to be helpful because it was just going to keep me in that. So that was a different way of thinking too, to go, I don't need to focus on that to get well. I thought I had to focus on all the minute, finite things to get well, as opposed to a solution I didn't know anything about. So
that will make no sense to some people. Like with chronic fatigue or chronic pain, they've got the journals going, they've got the food diaries. But what's behind that is, what's the threat? What's the threat? What's the dangerous thing? And the very act of looking for those threats is reinforcing this brain's focus on danger, and they're safe. That's the whole point. The response is inaccurate. The triggers are totally safe. You don't have to go there. You can just focus on your solution, as you said.
That was enlightening. I'm grateful for that. It changed the way I look at kind of, like I remember you saying people with chronic pain will, before they open their eyes, do a quick body check, which is exactly what I was doing. Before my eyes were open, I'd figure out which parts of my body were most painful. Of course, I'd find them because the brain would go hunting hard. That's the same with people with anxiety. They will look for anxiety in their body before their eyes are open. The moment they do that, people go, I wake up anxious. I go, no, you don't. You don't wake up anxious. You wake up and you find it. And it's understanding those tiny little windows we have to make a different choice. They're small, but they're there. And it's how do we make those cracks and windows bigger and bigger, so, we get to make bigger choices and grander choices.
Tempted to quote Viktor Frankl, in between stimulus and response, there's a gap. And in that gap lies our freedom to choose which direction we want.